It is with great sadness that the Big Scary Show must express its condolences to the family and the friends of Brian David Wolf, who passed away on October 15th, 2013. He was a friend to many, many people, including all of the members of the Big Scary Show and the entire haunt industry. On behalf of the four hosts, the friends, the family, his brother Nick, his wife Dara, daughter Trinity, our deepest sympathies to you, Brian. You were my friend. You will be missed. Rest in peace.
For the deepest, darkest grooves, to the backwoods swamp we at the bottom, from the inside of your casket to the fears lying deep inside your subconscious, it's time for the Big Scary Show.
This is Alan Shull with Backwoods Oddities in Waverly, Ohio, and you're listening to The Big Scary Show.
Hi, this is Linda Pickard in Brown Summit with Extreme Fear, and you're listening to The Big Scary Show.
This is Adam from The Haunting Experience on Highway 61 in Cottage Grove, Minnesota, and you're listening to The Big Scary Show.
This is Chris Trabella from Uncle Bucktooth's Zombie Hunt and Gun Club and Hauntopolis.com, and you're listening to The Big Scary Show, eh?
This is Hatchet from HorrorFields.com, and you are listening to The Big Scary Show!
This is Victor Baratel from Ghoulie Manor in the American Screen, and you're listening to The Big Scary Show.
You're listening to The Big Scary Show with 3 big scary men and one that wears more makeup than I do.
This week, on a brand new Big Scary Show, we continue to talk to haunt owners around the country and find out what makes their haunts special and terrifying. Be sure to support your local haunts. Badger talks to Jen Braverman about the legendary haunt tour coming to the Lone Star State this November. Be sure to make your plans now to attend this incredible event. Storm takes a break from causing mayhem at Trails to Terror to rant in a Haunt Minute. The unknown scare actor continues to cause protein spills at the Dent Schoolhouse and takes time to make you face your fears. The Haunt Rocker continues to bring you some killer ambient music to get you in the Halloween mood and teases you with a special announcement coming later in the show. Want to know what it is? Stay tuned. Badger brings you the news. You just know there'll be a gruesome giveaway for the month of October. The Round Table of Terror discusses home haunting in the U.S. and Canada and talks to those whose love of Halloween makes them dress up their homes and yards to frighten and delight the neighbors. In addition, the hosts bring in a special guest to talk about how home haunters can make the transition to professional haunters. All this, plus more, only on The Big Scary Show.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to The Big Scary Show. We're hoping you're enjoying all the cool things we're talking about. And I know we are right smack in the middle of haunt season. We hope yours is going just swimmingly. We hope everybody's out there supporting their local haunts. We hope the owners are making some money and the attendees are getting scared and lots of body fluids are being ejected violently and lots of scares and all that great stuff. And I almost hate to bring it up, but we do have to look at the end of the haunt season. 2013 is coming sooner than we think, but rather than mourning the end of the haunt season, we're planning on going out in a big, big way. Of course, I'm talking about winding up your 2013 haunt season down in the Lone Star State of Texas with the legendary Haunt Tour. It's kind of the final big bang of the season that's been going on this is their 4th year. And in order to get all the good scoop and all the news and all the great stuff, we go straight to the source as we normally do. We have Jen Braverman of the legendary Haunt Tour all the way up in Chicago. Jen, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing tonight, Badger?
We're great. It's mid-October, probably a little nip in the air. How much snow you got on the ground in Chicago?
We don't have any snow yet.
Oh,
it's actually pretty warm here.
Is it really? Good.
Yeah,
Good.
It's been a really mild fall.
Hope the weather's good, and I hope everybody up in the Chicago area is getting out there and checking out all the great haunts up there and all that stuff. But we're talking going down to Texas in November to kind of close out the season for 2013. In a nutshell, give us the 5 W's, the who, what, where, when, and whys of the legendary Haunt Tour for 2013.
All right. Well, the Haunt Tour is going to be November 8th and 9th. It's going to be at the 13th floor haunted house in San Antonio, Texas. It's going to start out there Friday night. And then Saturday night, we're going to move to the House of Torment in Austin.
How far a distance is that apart?
It's about an hour and 10-minute drive. Not too bad.
So are we going to be required to drive, or are you going to have buses? How are you going to?
No, all the buses are going to leave from the host hotel, which will be the Hyatt Regency, which is on the Riverwalk, and they'll be taking coach buses to Austin.
Very nice. So House of Torment and 13th Floor, 2 very, very stellar reputation haunts down there.
Yes, we're going to have some great seminars with some industry experts that are going to be speaking and kind of recap the season, as well as having some great dinners and fun parties, and of course, seeing the haunted houses.
And let me ask you this: how much advance time do you have to work on this? Is this something that? Well, I guess I'll just ask: are you working on 2014 or 2015 now? Do haunts in an area get together and say, let's contact Jen Braverman and see if we can get her to bring Legendary to our area? How does that process work for any haunts out there that may be interested?
A lot of times the haunted houses, like you were saying, do contact Transworld and kind of throw their hat in the ring and say they're interested in hosting this. And a lot of times we just go through a process and talk to a lot of different people and kind of see where they would like, for the next haunt tour to be.
I see. So is there like a bidding process, or is there a set, what constitutes a legendary haunt to be qualified for a legendary haunt tour? Like, I know you've been to Kansas City, you've been to Pennsylvania, you've been to New Orleans, and now you're in Texas. So where else could we find quote-unquote legendary haunts to bring the tour to?
I think there's a lot of amazing, amazing haunted houses out there. And I don't know what would necessarily constitute something as legendary, but I think it's something that is really well established. And I think everyone in the industry just really wants to see and doesn't get a chance to see it during their season.
Obviously, the haunt owners are, working their haunts, and a lot of people just don't get on a plane and go fly halfway across the country to go see a few really good haunts. I can see that. So is that really kind of how Legendary came about? 4 years ago, you were sitting around and saying, this is a great way to kind of close out the season?
I think that's part of it. And the other thing I think was really being able to see haunts still in their full swing with their normal cast and being up and running. And the only time really to do that was to do it at the end of the haunt season. So that's kind of how we ended up picking that date pattern.
Sure. I mean, no offense to any of the spring and summer conventions, but, most of those, they do lights on tours because they don't have their actors, or they're not at full capacity. And at least in this way, their actors are in full swing. They probably don't want the season to end, and everybody's just sitting here going, let's close this out with a bang.
Absolutely. And you really get to see it, the way that the haunt owners really want you to see their haunt and have it on display. So I think it works out really great. They extend their season a little bit. They open up the week before to the general public, and then we come the next weekend.
And I wonder just how hard it is to scare hardened, jaded veteran haunters like this. I mean, those actors are going to have to be like super on their toes, I'm sure.
I think it's a lot of pressure when you really let in your peers. I think it's one thing to let in the general public, but when the real haunted house owners are walking through your haunt, I think, everyone really brings their A game.
Sure. So if you don't want to name prices, that's fine, but I'm assuming one low price will get everybody access to everything, not including travel and hotel, or is hotel included in the registration?
No, hotel's not included. Kind of what it is it's $295, and what that pretty much includes is the haunted houses, the roundtable discussions, the seminars, food prior to going into the haunt, the after parties after the haunt. So it's kind of in the transportation from one haunt to the other, back to the hotel.
So basically, if you can get out to San Antonio, pretty much most everything is covered once you get your hotel. Maybe, hotels have breakfast, and then you have some pre-parties and after-parties, and it looks like, for the most part, you won't have to spend a lot of money unless you're, just getting your You'll be
getting dinners every night and parties after that, and you'll be getting transportation to and from both of the haunted houses. So, yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's a little bit of money that you may spend during the day, but you're our guest, and we like to treat everyone once, they get to Texas and really try to make it a great experience for everyone.
Will you be spending the majority of the day in San Antonio, giving people a chance to walk around Riverwalk and all that, or are you going to put them on a bus early in the afternoon and ship them off to Austin to hang around and shop and check out the sites?
The way we have it set up is people are pretty much free to do what they want. There will be a bus at 5 o'clock that leaves the hotel, or 5:30, that'll bring them on Saturday to Austin. But depending on when people arrive, on Friday, they can spend the day on the Riverwalk. And if Saturday they want to go early, they're welcome to do that. But we were thinking most people would probably want to be around San Antonio. You've got the Alamo, and you've got a lot of history there and a lot of really cool things. So, that's where our host hotel is. And there's a lot of bars, too, as well, for a real late night after, parties where people love to talk and get together. So
absolutely.
It makes for a really social environment.
And both of these towns have terrific nightlife, so I will say that.
Amazing.
So.
They do.
So for people interested, if you have not gotten your tickets or you are intrigued by this conversation, I'm assuming it is not too late to pick up tickets.
No, we're even selling tickets on site. We usually do. We prefer knowing ahead of time, but if people need to buy tickets on site, they're more than welcome to. Definitely get your hotels soon because they fill up. And if they go to the legendaryhaunttour.com, they'll be able to sign right up on the website there. And there's also a video, a preview of both of these haunted houses on the website.
Nice. This is also open to the general public. It's not just for
Yes,
haunters.
it's open to everyone. It's definitely open to everyone. The majority of people that do come are haunted house owners, so it does give you a chance, if you are an enthusiast, to talk to some of the largest haunts in the United States. But, yes, it is definitely open to the general public. We welcome everyone.
Excellent. So legendaryhaunttour.com for registration, previews, and all the information you know or that you need to know about the Legendary Haunt Tour 2013 going to San Antonio and Austin, Texas for the 13th Floor and House of Torment. Am I correct on that?
You are correct on that. And tickets we are now open for Transworld. So if there are any haunted house owners out there that want to sign up early for Transworld, the website is now open, which is haashow.com, to sign up for your tickets for Transworld's March 20th to the 23rd show.
I was going to ask you, the dates for Transworld 2014 have changed a little bit, so I'm glad you did mention that. Well, anyway, Jen, I know you have that little one at home who's teething and cranky and probably needs to be put to bed again, so I'm going to let you go, and thank you so very much for taking the time out to talk Legendary Haunt Tour. You hate to say end of the haunt season, but this is certainly a grand way to go out in it. I want to thank Jen Braverman from the Legendary Haunt Tour and Transworld for coming on here on the Big Scary Show, legendaryhaunttour.com, for everything you need to know about heading down to the great state of Texas to end out the 2013 haunt season. My name is Drew Badger, and I am out. Join your fellow haunt owners, actors, and enthusiasts in Texas this November for the Legendary Haunt Tour. Happening November 8th and 9th, the Legendary Haunt Tour will be visiting the House of Torment in Austin and the 13th floor in San Antonio. One ticket price includes tours of all locations, transportation, and 2 evening parties. Tickets are now on sale, so don't miss out. Get your tickets, schedules, hotel reservations, and much, much more at legendaryhaunttour.com. It's not just good, it's legendary.
Chris Thomas, Music for Haunts, The Descent on The Big Scary Show. Do you remember your worst nightmares? What is it that fills you with dread? Do you hear things go bump in the night? Well, it's time. It's time to face your fears.
Brought to you by Dark Spectre Custom Couture. Check out Nez's work at www.darkspectre.com.
Couture for the creatures of the night.
Greetings, haunters. The unknown scare actor here with a very special Face Your Fears. The phobia I want to talk about this episode is carcinophobia, or the fear of cancer. A very dear friend to the haunt community, to the Big Scary Show, and to myself, Brian David Wolf, faced this fear nearly 16 months ago when he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Doctors gave him approximately 6 to 8 months to live, and he faced that fear and kept fighting and fighting for a long time and beat all those predictions. And he always kept a smile on his face. He made people laugh, along with his brother Nick, two of the best guys you'd ever want to meet. Brian David Wolf will be sorely missed in this business, and I can't say enough good things about him and what he's done for all of us. He made so many people smile, and he made so many friends over the years. And somewhere in the afterlife, somebody's got one heck of a face painter and a body painter, and we are going to truly miss him. God bless you, Brian, and I know you're looking down on us wherever you are, and we will never, ever forget you.
Always remember one thing, haunters. Everyone is afraid of something.
Tired of surfing all over the web to find the latest haunt news? Why sift through hours of those video tube channels trying to find the latest how-to videos? Isn't there an easier way? Of course there is! Introducing HauntersDigest.com. With HauntersDigest.com, just one click will put a world of haunt information at your fingertips. From the latest news, to vendor information, to video tutorials. And don't forget the soon-to-be world-famous Haunt Brief, which takes a deeper look into many aspects of the industry. There's even a directory of over 800 haunted attractions, so you can find the right one for you. Still not convinced? There's even columns written by many experts in the industry covering a wide range of topics. Rumor has it a certain member of a particular podcast might even write for HauntersDigest.com. As an extra bonus, you can follow them on Twitter and Facebook. For more information, visit www.HauntersDigest.com today. Greetings, mortals, and anything else listening. Welcome to the Big Scary Show's Deadline News. We start off with some disturbing news from the Haunt House in the Dallas, Texas area. Via Facebook, the Haunt House was broken into this past weekend, and all of their masks, along with a few other items, were stolen. These are CFX masks and Stilt Beast Studios masks. Please keep an eye out on Craigslist and or eBay and pawn shops in the Dallas area and beyond on the off chance they wind up there. If anyone has any information, please contact Bart Butler or Michael Edwards from the Haunt House immediately. Their hope is that they can recover at least a portion of the inventory and have these arrested before they get their hands on them. Thanks. You can send any information to their Facebook page at facebook.com/The Haunt House. We have this news from Hollywood Boulevard Cinemas in Woodridge and Naperville, Illinois. Join Freddy Krueger himself, Robert Englund, for a special screening of his most famous movie, A Nightmare on Elm Street, over Halloween weekend. He'll be hosting a screening of this movie at the Hollywood Boulevard Cinemas in Woodridge, Illinois on Friday, October 25th, Hollywood Palms in Naperville, Illinois on Saturday, October 26th, and Hollywood Boulevard Cinemas back in Woodridge on Sunday, October 27th. For details and tickets, go to HollywoodPalmsCinema.com. We have this news from the Fun Haven Hallowember Party in Ottawa, Canada. Fun Haven is Ottawa's premier family entertainment center destination with attractions and events for all ages, combining the best interactive entertainment the industry has to offer with a passionate dedication to safety, cleanliness, and customer service. Fun Haven delivers fun and family memories in an upscale and affordable environment just minutes away from your own home. But did you know Fun Haven is hosting a Hallowember First Party on November 1st? That's Friday night. This is a full costume party for the 19-plus crowd that begins at 9 p.m. and goes until 2 a.m. Prizes will be awarded for best costume. Of course, Fun Haven is licensed and will have a DJ on to ensure that the night is thumping. For more information, visit funhaven.com. We have some news from the Misery Haunted House in Little Chute, Wisconsin. Misery is the newest haunted house in Wisconsin. Proceeds benefit the Haven of Hope, providing appropriate and affordable care for children and adults with special needs, as well as typical children. And on October 27th from noon till 3 p.m., it's Kids Day at Misery Haunted House. Bring the kids for fun and all kinds of neat stuff, including trick-or-treating, face painting, hearses, and a visit from the Wisconsin Ghostbusters. All this fun is just $5 a person. Take a non-scary tour of the haunted house with all the lights on. For more information, visit facebook.com/Misery Haunted House. We have this news from the Grandstand of Terror in Blackfoot, Idaho. Ever wondered what it might be like to really experience The Walking Dead? Or have your own little World War Z? Now you can at the Grandstand of Terror. Come join us for Zombie Laser Apocalypse. You have a laser gun with limited bullets. Will you get out before they get you? An experience like no other. Just an extra $10 when you visit the Grand Stand of Terror at the EIS Fairgrounds in Blackfoot. More information can be found at facebook.com/The Grand Stand of Terror. We have this news from the Beast and Edge of Hell haunted attractions in Kansas City. Established in 1991, the Beast is known throughout the industry for its elaborate scenes and attention to detail. The Edge of Hell has been scaring Kansas City since 1975 and is widely regarded as the granddaddy of all haunted houses. And now, they're announcing that if you purchase a season pass to all 4 West Bottoms haunted houses, that's the Beast, the Edge of Hell, the Chambers of Edgar Allan Poe, and Macabre Cinema, you can go on multiple nights to use the pass, and it includes the 4-story jump out of the Chambers of Poe window. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit www.kcbeast.com. We have news from the Evil Queen's House of Horrors in Hawaii. For all those who live on the Big Island of Hawaii, the Evil Queen's House of Horrors is back for another season and is free and open to the public for one night only, October 31st, from 6 to 9 p.m. at 76-6221 Papala Street, Kailua Kona, Hawaii. She hopes to see you there, and mahalo. We have this news on the 11th annual Bloody Mary's 5-day Western Caribbean Voodoo Mardi Gras cruise. Join Bloody Mary and the gang for their 11th cruise. This cruise is for all haunt and Halloween enthusiasts. This year our theme is Voodoo Mardi Gras out of New Orleans, one of the greatest towns to step out on. Bourbon Street is filled with nightclubs, restaurants, and street musicians playing all kinds of jazz. You will have the time of your life and the most fun vacation you can ask for. Bloody Mary has all kinds of surprises up her sleeve for this spectacular cruise. We stop at 2 fun and sun-filled ports, Cozumel and Progreso, Yucatan. Cozumel is one of the world's top 5 dive destinations with the best snorkeling. Yucatan is on the Gulf Coast of Mexico and is famous for its kayaking adventures and golden beaches. There's a lot to do and explore in both destinations. We'll once again have our masquerade ball and contest. Bobby Wiener will be doing special FX makeup demos this coming year, and we will once again have our door contest and Halloween gift exchange. You won't want to miss the Bloody Mary Haunted Mardi Gras Voodoo Adventure going out February 3rd through February 8th, 2014. For more information, email info@dearbloodymary.com or call 817-615-8610. We have this story on the Morgan Haunted House in Lumberton, North Carolina. The Morgan Haunted House in Lumberton, North Carolina has been reinvented as Fear Haunted House and Hayride. Ricky Morgan, who started the haunt 15 years ago as a safe gathering place on Halloween night, was about to give up the idea now that his children are grown. Daughter Ricky Lynn was not ready to let it go. Calling on friends and looking to people in the haunt industry, she has renamed and restored the haunt of her youth. On October 18th, Fear Haunted House and Hayride will open its creaky doors to the public. A new haunt, new scares, the same family, small-town America heart that has kept it going for the past 15 years, the community that cares, scares. For more information on the Fear Haunted House and Hayride, go to their Facebook page at facebook.com/FearLumberton. And finally, we have this message from Days of the Dead in Atlanta via email, news@bigscaryshow.com. In case you didn't know, VIP passes for Days of the Dead Atlanta, happening February 7th through the 9th, 2014 at the Sheraton in downtown Atlanta, are on sale now, with such perks as line skipping for the biggest celebrities, guaranteed front row seating at all panels and screenings, a tote bag full of Days of the Dead goodies, catered VIP lounge, and our Saturday night VIP party. The Days of the Dead VIP pass is the best bang for the buck in the industry. Limited to only 100. Don't miss out on scoring yours. To get those VIP passes, go to www.daysofthedead.net/Atlanta. Remember, folks, if you have news about the haunt, horror, or Halloween industry, please send it to us at news@bigscaryshow.com, and we'll get it on the air. No news is too big or too small. This concludes this edition of the Big Scary Show's Deadline News. Hello everybody, Drew Badger here, and it is that time where we like to give away lots of cool stuff. It is time for the gruesome giveaway for the month of October, sponsored by Screamline Studios. Go to screamlinestudios.com and check out all their great stuff. Being it's October, you know we're going to give away something really good, and we're going to make it easy for you this time. All you have to do is listen to the show and answer the following question. Send in your name and phone number to contest@bigscaryshow.com, and you just might win something really cool. So without further ado, the question for the October gruesome giveaway is... Name one of the home haunts in this week's Roundtable of Terror. If you think you can do that, please email your name and number to contest@bigscaryshow.com before midnight on Monday, October 28th. We're cutting the contest a little short this month because it is October and we're busy haunting. So name one of the home haunts in this week's Roundtable of Terror. Send it in to contest@bigscaryshow.com by Monday, October 28th at midnight, and you just might be a winner. Good luck, and thank you again to Screamline Studios for their wonderful prizes.
And welcome back to the Big Scary Show, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you're enjoying it. It is the most glorious time of year. Of course, we're right in the middle of haunt season, so we're going to bring you the Roundtable of Terror. And we're talking haunts. We hope all of you haunt owners out there are having record-breaking years. But, you know, we're not talking to professional haunters this time. We're talking to where it all begins. We're wanting to talk to... We don't want to say the little guy. We just want to say the enthusiast maybe at this time. We're talking home haunts. We're talking yard haunts. You know, most of you professional haunters out there probably got your start by being that guy or that girl in the neighborhood, putting all the really cool decorations out, having all the kids coming and oohing and ahhing at your yards. So we thought we'd put the word out and see if we could get a couple of yard haunters and home haunters out there. And sure enough, there's an awful lot of you out there, so we got a trio of them out there. Let's see, who do we have on the phone? I believe we've got Alan Shell from Waverly, Ohio. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Nice to be here.
And what is the name of your home haunt?
Backwoods Oddities.
Backwoods Oddities. That's a familiar sounding name. I believe the Unknown Scare Actor has a little history with you guys. We also have, way up in the frozen north, probably snowing as we speak, up in Oshawa, Ontario, we have Chris Trebella. Did I pronounce that correct?
You did.
Oh, wow, great.
Twice in a row.
I'm getting better. Now, not only do you have a home haunt with a really long name, but you also run Hauntopolis magazine. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've dipped my toe in quite a few things. But, yep.
What is the name of your home haunt? Because it's way too big for me to remember.
Yeah, it's the full name is Uncle Bucktooth's All-American Backwoods Zombie Hunt and Gun Club. Even though I'm Canadian.
God, I hope you were able to get the domain name for that.
Yeah.
And, of course, we couldn't talk home haunting without talking to probably one of the most famous ex-home haunters of them all. No stranger to the Big Scary Show, internationally well-known film star Victor Barreto up in Fairhaven, Mass. Are you there, Victor?
I am. What's
Great.
happening?
You know, as an ex-home haunter, we're counting on your unique perspective here. And, of course, we're joined, as always, by Storm.
Greetings.
The Unknown Scare Actor.
Back from sunny Florida into the dreary Ohio weather.
And, unfortunately, the haunt rocker Jerry Vane has some technical difficulties tonight. He will be unable to join us, so I will be filling in, hopefully, with all the rock and roll questions, if there are any. My name is Drew Badger. I'm down in Charlotte. I'll throw the first question out to the home haunters. home haunters, and please give your name when you pipe up. What made you decide to be that person in your neighborhood and decide to start decorating your homes for Halloween?
I hit the buzzer. I felt like I was on a game show there for a second. Why get into home haunting? Well, I mean, probably like most people, it's the same story. I just love to scare people and always had an affinity for horror movies, horror video games, all that good stuff. So really, it's about the scare and just scaring people from back in the early days where I used to sit with a really crunchy latex mask in my sister's washroom, sweating profusely, waiting for her to come in the house so I could just jump out and scare her when she got home from work, to doing the home haunt now.
Anybody else? How'd the other guys get started?
This is Alan. I believe it or not, I didn't have a big past in scaring people. I really enjoyed reading special effects makeup magazines. One day I come home from work, my wife showed me an older website that had how to build Halloween props. We decided to do a party for just the family that ended up being a yard haunt because we went way overboard. Everybody enjoyed it. That was 5 years ago, and we've gotten bigger and better every year. Now we've got a 3,000 square foot haunt. It consumes my entire garage and a good portion of the outdoor section.
This is Vic. I didn't get to celebrate Halloween when I was a kid for religious reasons. So once I became an adult, I lost my mind. When I got married, we based, we went house hunting and based our choice on the trick-or-treater count. So once I became an adult, it was intentional. We wanted to, have this great home haunt.
How much time and effort do you guys put in to building a home haunt? You hear about the professionals that are doing it sometimes year round.
All of it, all of your time.
Absolutely.
Even in the winter.
It consumes me from the day we close until the day we open again. Absolutely everything. Driving down the road, seeing a piece of something somebody threw up, I can make that into something. Stopping and picking it up, just because it consumes me.
Yeah, that's so true, eh? Like you'll watch a horror movie, a new horror movie that comes out in March or April, or you'll see something on the internet or whatever, and it just spawns this big idea, and you're like, oh, what if I did this? Oh my God, I could do this and change that. And you start scribbling on pieces of paper beside the bed there at night, and next thing you know, you've got this crazy idea that's going to happen in October, and it's you start 12 months earlier on November 1st.
Yeah, we get together with friends, other friends who do this, the Massachusetts Make and Take group. So we build props pretty much all year.
Do any of you guys? Go ahead.
By February, generally, I have a sketch of the haunt, the theme for the year, so that when we do come across things half price or that we can use from St. Patrick's Day or whatever, we can buy it and have it stocked up and ready to go.
And what kind of, I guess, you guys say you're starting to look at basically when the season's over, or do you buy a lot of your stuff? Do you make a lot of your stuff? Do you just kind of pile stuff in a corner until you can figure out what to do with it?
For me, it's got to be homemade. If you walk in a yard and you see something that you just saw at Spirit Halloween, and you're just looking at a display, For me, if I buy something, I have to modify it. It has to be mine.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I got to admit, I'm definitely one of those people who I just don't seem to have, enough time in the day to get everything done. So typically that's definitely, my strategy. I'll find something, whether it's at a yard sale or it's from an antique store or something off the internet, and then you go at it with everything you got and modify it, make it how you want it and stuff. So, but yeah, I sometimes I rely on other things to help me move things forward more quickly than I would on my own if I was building everything from scratch.
The half-off sales the day after Halloween sure help us with just the general items, and we'll go ahead and hit them up, and then we'll modify them to work with our haunt. Everything that we have as far as pneumatics or animatronics in our haunt at this point has been made by us.
Wow.
Well, I've got a question for all three of you. And it's something I've been curious about because I've worked with Alan in the past, and I know Vic. But why do you guys do a haunt instead of working one? What's working at one? What's the appeal for you?
I've done everything. I own a haunt now. I've worked at a haunt, and I do the home haunt. The appeal of the home haunt is you get to do it your own way. It's your imagination. It's your art. It's your, blood, sweat, and tears. That's yours. When you work at a professional haunt, even as a haunt owner, there still has to be compromise. At home, it's yours, and that's sort of what I miss most about home haunting.
Yeah, I think that's pretty valid. I mean, it's something that I've always had in the back of my mind because I think a lot of home haunters want to possibly or have considered making the leap to, a full-time or professional haunt, and it's always scared the heck out of me. I was like, in terms of a business, it's just too scary. So, home haunt, you can kind of, for lack of a better way to explain, you can get away with murder with a home haunt. So that definitely appeals to me. But I'm a bit of a project manager type personality, so I get off on planning all these things right down to the nth degree. So that's kind of where, I enjoy that.
To be honest, it never occurred to me to ever work at a haunt. It was just, we started as a yard haunt, and I took off from there as it was our creation. I've only been to 3 professional haunts in my life. Everything we do is just straight out of our minds.
Okay.
I did Spooky World for a couple of years. I hooked up with Ed Gannon, and I just asked him, can I come work with you? I run a home haunt, but I'd like to see how the pros do it. And then I took that information and brought it into my home haunt, and it completely changed my home haunt. It went from pretty much a yard display to like a 7-room walkthrough. So I learned a lot, and I applied it to my home haunt. But I got to say that before that, it was a lot less stress. We had a yard display. It was just build props, throw them out there, build props, throw them out there. And once I worked at Spooky World, that changed everything. And that's when the stress started, believe it or not.
Well, I do want to take this time to remind everybody that you are listening to the Roundtable of Terror here on the Big Scary Show. We got to take a really quick break just to pay a few bills and let you in on some very important information. And we will be right back talking about home haunters here on the Roundtable of Terror.
CreepyCollection.com. The most disturbing, realistic, handmade props and animatronics for the horror industry. Now featuring FearFlex technology. Voted best zombie props of 2011 and 2012. CreepyCollection.com for all your gore and more.
And we're back to the Roundtable of Terror, talking home haunts, yard haunts, and everything kind of haunt-related in that aspect. We've got Alan Shell from Waverly, Ohio. We've got Victor Barito from up in Massachusetts. We've got Chris Trubella from Oshawa, Ontario. Being from Canada and Ontario and all that, do you ever have the major weather-related problems with your home hunt? I mean, obviously, snow and ice and that notwithstanding, but you always hear about Canadian winters and stuff like that, and I expect you'd be buried under a mountain of snow at this point. Do you have that kind of an issue? I mean, are these stereotypes true?
You know what? I mean, a lot of people think that. Not really true. I mean, we looked at it once. I don't know what I'm not that amazing with geography, but the latitude, I guess it is, whatever ones sort of run horizontally around the globe. We've got where I am. We've got about the same latitude as Northern California, so it's not that bad here at all, actually. But yeah, I mean, it can get cold, but I don't recall the last time it snowed up here on a Halloween night. So
That's down south. A blizzard for them is something you can sweep off the back step too.
We get a light dusting, and all the milk and bread distributors can go out and buy yachts the next spring. we panic in that.
Yeah, 3 seasons ago we got a nice snowstorm, just 2 days before Halloween.
Something like that. It's like the day before or 2 days before, and it depends on where you were, but there's anywhere from a quick coating and melted by afternoon to a couple inches of snow.
Wow. Well, it's not so bad up here, I got to say.
Maybe effect.
That's what I was just going to say. I think because we're on the wrong or the right side of the lake, we just don't get that. We don't get that. It ends up in Buffalo somewhere on the other side of the border. So.
Yeah, it's a rare occurrence for a snowstorm in the Northeast on Halloween, and it really takes a serious nor'easter, and that's even early for them to cause that issue. So, I mean, it's out of the normal. I mean, I've been haunting, the week of Halloween where you're sweating to death. It's 90 degrees out, and I've also been out on Halloween night with flurries coming down, and got 2 or 3 pairs of gloves and hot hands just to get around.
Yeah, I mean, last year was brutal, right? I mean, with the hurricane rolling through this area, I was running the first Halloween parade for this area in Oshawa, and we had a big event set up at the local. There's a large central park in the middle of the city, and we had a haunt set up that was probably clocking in around maybe 1,500 or 2,000 square feet. We had some live entertainment, a whole pile of stuff. Pretty much everything got kiboshed when that thing came through. The city wouldn't let me utilize their electrical supply because they were worried about a shock hazard to people, and the haunt floor ended up turning into mud, and it was just brutal. So that hurricane pretty much destroyed that entire event. But the Halloween parade itself went off pretty much without a hitch, and it was pretty awesome. But that's the worst weather story I've got, and that's about it.
A question for you three. How do your neighborhoods respond to your haunts? Is there a lot of positive, overly positive or overly negative? Or, I mean, I guess just want to know how the neighborhood feels about it.
Definitely positive. When I stopped doing the home haunt, they nearly ripped me a new one. So, yeah, they look forward to it every year.
It's like, what, I got to pay to get into this now?
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
Chris, how about you?
You know what, to be honest, on the scale that I'm doing it this year, which, compared to you guys, it's not like it's a 5-room walkthrough. It's not massive, but it's definitely massive for this neighborhood. And I got to be honest, I don't know how my neighbors are going to take it. I'm going to be canvassing a little bit before and make sure everybody's, they know what I'm doing. I'm going to make sure they understand that there's a charity tie-in and see what kind of reactions I get. But in general, like I live on an older street. It's like filled with century homes. So it's a really cool street, and people do embrace Halloween on this street. I've seen it. I saw it in the first year we moved here. So, I did a small thing last year just to, feel things out. But this year it's going to be much different. So I don't know exactly how my neighbors are going to take it. I got my fingers crossed. It'll be good, but we'll see.
Alan?
Oh, absolutely positive. It's to the point now where we don't have the option of not doing it. It's assumed that it's going to be there. Everybody's promising to be there. It's there's no negative responses at all, not even from the neighbors exactly next door saying, oh, my God, you guys were making noise and banging at 2 a.m. and cars in and out. Absolutely positive. Everybody loves it.
So, Alan and Victor, do you guys find that with your home haunts, you try to make it, you try to make the home haunt sort of middle of the road so you don't offend anybody and you don't underscare somebody, or do you go one way or the other, or how do you approach that kind of thing?
Well, we got little kids coming through the haunt, so not a lot of blood, and it's not terrorizing. It's fun. There's a few scares, but we're not out to traumatize children. So now that we're pro, it's a lot different. But at the home haunt, yeah, the reins were on.
With us, to be honest, we're not in a trick-or-treating area. We're more rural. So everybody that comes through our advertising. Since we do charity work also, we have a charity tie-in. So we go a little bit more towards the type of stuff you would see at a pro haunt, more blood. We have a recommended age of 10 and up for our haunt.
That's probably smart.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
Even though the recommended age of trick-or-treaters is probably 10 and under, or at least the other guys.
With us not having trick-or-treaters normally up and down our street, everybody that comes, they're willing to be scared, so they're willing to deal with the age restriction, or the suggested age restriction. We don't enforce it. If the parents decide that their 8-year-old can handle it, which one of our actors is 8, then we let them go through.
Yeah, what we did was in the front of the house, we would set it up so it's scary. And this way, we wouldn't get the kids that are scared out of their mind. They wouldn't even make it past the front of the house.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have been talking about the concerns with your patrons and people coming through. What have been some of your concerns with opening up your house, opening up your yard to, the general public and people you don't know?
Well, it's scary. You don't want people to get hurt. That's the biggest thing. You need to make it safe. You need to take all the precautions that a professional haunt takes. You have to go through the whole thing, make sure there's no nails sticking out. I even put, ADA ramps in so wheelchairs could get through my haunt. And yeah, that's probably the biggest scary thing is the safety. You don't want to get sued. And when you're at home, you can't. If you're charging money, your homeowner's insurance isn't going to cover that if somebody gets hurt, because now you're a business. So we never charge money for that reason. But still, last year we had 2,000 visitors over. Well, not last year, year before. 2,000 visitors over the course of 3 days. You only know a small percentage of those people, so you don't know who's coming through your haunt. And also, my daughters were in the haunt as well. So we have to make sure that they're safe and our actors are safe.
I agree completely.
Go ahead.
Safety is a huge issue. We follow fire code, and since we do have a charity tie-in, we actually pay for the event insurance as if we were a professional haunt, even though we're not, just to help cover us in case something that we didn't foresee happens.
That kind of brings up the question, and especially more towards Vic, what is the biggest difference between home haunting and professional haunting as far as not necessarily size and charging things, but as far as permitting, zoning, working with the government, and things like that?
A lot of business, a lot of paperwork. I spend a lot of time at home on my computer, or going to the radio station, or going to the insurance place, or where when it was a home haunt, I was just home building stuff. It's
Nobody
all
cared.
fun. Yeah, exactly. You're dealing with payroll, you're dealing with the IRS, you're dealing with fire inspections. There's none of that at the home haunt. And the other thing that maybe people don't think about is when you're a home haunter, you're on a very small budget. So you got plenty of time to build things, and you're more creative that way. When you're a haunting professional, you don't have time to sit down and build all these props like you want. You've got to now your haunt is. I mean, we had 7 rooms. I think we got 30 at the Pro Haunt. So you don't have time to sit down and do all those intricate little things. And not only that, but we've got a pretty big crew, where before we had a very tight-knit crew. It was family, and it was a couple friends doing the home haunt. So there's a lot of differences.
Did you ever, or this is directed basically to all of you, did any of you in the course of running your home haunts, have you ever had, say, the police come out, or somebody from the local municipality noticing that you're putting an awful lot of structures and fencing and walls and things on your properties? Have they ever come out and bothered you, saying, what's all this and what are you doing and that kind of stuff?
Nope, never had a problem.
Okay.
I haven't had a problem yet, but to be honest with you, I that's a real concern for me, because bylaw in this neighborhood is, or police force, whatever, they're pretty active. Everybody's trying to keep their homes beautiful and heritage, keep all the heritage kind of qualities nice and beautiful. So, yeah, bylaw and stuff's always up and down this street, and everybody's always calling them to, get this car out from in front of my house and stuff. So it's a pretty tricky street to be on. So I'm not sure how it's going to go over, to be honest with you. So I'm kind of anxious about that.
Are you letting them know in advance?
I am going to actually let them know. I haven't let them know yet. And I would say, you know what, this is keeping me mildly up at night, because I'm wondering, my God, if I go to them and I'm going to say, here's what I'm doing, it's going to be all on my property, blah, 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 safe and all this stuff. What if they say something that's like, well, I'm not sure you can do this, or you need a permit for that? It's like, my God, that's going to change, all this work I've done since whenever, March or April, might change things dramatically for me. So we'll have to see how it goes.
Well, do you take it all down at the end of the Halloween season, or?
Oh yeah. The new place that I'm at right now, my old place was great. I had lots of room, I could spread out, but I'm in this neighborhood now, and everything is so condensed, right? So I can't leave stuff up. I'm already taking up this huge space along the side of my house, and I see the neighbors peeking out, looking through their windows, seeing what's going on. There's giant tarps everywhere. There's saws, there's drills going on, and they're wondering what the heck I'm doing. And so, yeah, I mean, it comes down as soon as I can, and that's just how it has to be, I think. So,
if you're not buried in snow.
Yeah. Don't, you're going to curse it.
Let me ask
Generally,
you guys,
if it's temporary, they won't bother you.
What snow? What?
No. Your structures, generally, if it's temporary, you don't have to pull a permit. If it's not a permanent structure, it's up for, I think the restriction is like 30 days or something.
That's right, yeah. So, I mean, you never know. It may be a permanent structure if my wife gets ticked off enough at me. I may be living in the thing, so it's been taking up a lot of space in our house. And you got to keep the domestic bliss going, or else, it may be where you live. So, but it's temporary structure for sure. So,
well, we're going to need to start winding this down in just a few minutes. Time, unfortunately, is something that doesn't stop. I wanted to throw this out to all of you. What has been your best and worst experience as a home haunter? We'll start with Alan.
The best experience as a home haunter was standing at the front door, because I was running the front door, and hearing my mother-in-law absolutely scream as if she was being killed. Worst experience? Yeah, it was amazing.
A lot of guys' probably favorite experience.
It was amazing. I've never heard her scream like that, and I'll never forget it. Worst experience was the first time we had a protein spill. We weren't prepared for that. Yes. Preparations have been put in place for that now.
Things you don't think about.
Yeah.
Probably start selling change of underwear at your merch booth if you ever put one up. How about you, Vic?
Best experience, I think, was the last year of the home hunt when we did the line of people waiting to get in went down my driveway, around the house next door, and then around the corner. I thought that was so cool. I was in character. I was working the line, going up and down the line. I think that was my favorite moment. And the worst, I would have to say, is that storm, you know. We were actually supposed to be open that night, and we got that snowstorm. And although we didn't get devastated like most places, we had some pretty high winds. And, you know, we spent the whole day rushing around trying to repair things and chuck what couldn't be repaired and getting ready. That was pretty stressful. So that was probably the worst.
Yeah, I got to agree. For me, definitely the hurricane blowing through here last year was the worst for us. Like I said earlier, it devastated the event, and I soaked a good chunk of my own personal money in to make it happen, and yeah, it just ruined the whole event. The best would probably be when I was in my previous house, and we had so much smoke and everything. It had set off our fire alarms. We had thought we had disabled these things, but they weren't. They were still, there was one going, and it set off the fire alarm, and the fire department had showed up, and you know, most people were. This was actually a home haunt, like in our home, inviting friends and stuff. So I guess sort of party haunt. I don't know. We did up the whole house. They showed up, and people thought they were part of the party goer group, and invited them in, and they actually, once they determined that there was no emergency here, they actually came in and partied with us for a little while. So it was kind of cool. These guys, and you know, everybody's going up to them at some point saying, "Wow, your costumes are so authentic. They look so real." I had no idea, right? But that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
It wasn't a giveaway that there were fire trucks in front of the house. I mean, but whatever. People, you know, they have a couple of drinks and they lose their minds. So, yeah, it was pretty fun.
Sure. One last question from me. This is for Chris. Chris, what is going on with Hauntopolis magazine? I know you have a large section dedicated to the home haunter.
Absolutely, yeah. There's no Canadian haunt magazine print magazine that I'm familiar with. So I'm a marketer / graphic designer by trade, and my love of this stuff has, I just put two and two together. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to give it a go because I love writing, love researching, looking into stuff. So yeah, just Hauntopolis magazine, which is going to have its first issue drop in May 1st next year. We're working really hard on it. It looks beautiful with some really interesting stories covering both home and professional haunts, as well as some other stuff that related, definitely, but a little bit different than you're used to seeing. So we're hoping people are going to really embrace it and enjoy it.
Excellent. So, gentlemen, any final questions for our home haunters tonight?
Not for me. It's been thorough and enlightening. I've got some plans on the horizon, and I've gotten some ideas from listening to them.
I got a quick one. What's your big surprise this year? Come on, you can tell us. It'll be October. Come on, Alan, what's your big surprise? What's a big prop you've been building all year and you're proud of that you're going to roll out in October? Alan first.
I will tell you my big prop, but I will not tell you the twist ending. The big prop I'm working on this year is we have a room that's twisted. Instead of a magician cutting his beautiful assistant in half, we have a beautiful assistant cutting the magician in half, which is an electric chainsaw swung by pneumatics through the box with blood splatter against a white plastic wall.
Oh, bloody hell. That's awesome.
I can't wait to see that.
That's freaking awesome.
All right, and what's being planned north of the border there for us?
To be honest, the haunt walkthrough this year is kind of, I hate to say it's standard fare, but it sort of is to a certain degree. I mean, it's your standard sort of butcher room and Mama's kitchen and little Timmy's room and stuff, which is all wrapped around the theme of the Uncle Bucktooth Hunt and Gun Club. the front of it is actually like a hunt club reception kind of thing. I've been collecting props all year and building this thing up on skids. It looks pretty cool, the entryway. But we came up with an idea to sort of satisfy young people coming to this haunt in case they're too scared to go in. We're going to put like a little kind of shotgun looking thing that's going to be tethered on a string or something to the front facade. And we're going to have a zombie that's chained up on the front lawn, so the kids, kind of penny arcade style, they can pick up the shotgun, take a fake shot. You know, it won't make a bang or fire any projectiles or anything, but it'll take the zombie out, and hopefully the kid's all excited and happy. And then we're going to give him a little certificate that he got his first headshot. I don't know. Having a little fun. We'll keep it all
awesome.
PG.
Awesome. And Vic, come on. What's your big thing for Gully Manor this year? You've gone professional. What's the big thing you get to do this year that you weren't able to do at your house? You tell yours, I'll tell you mine.
We've got a room with wainscoting on the bottom half of the room, and it's basically, boards going up and down. And the actor behind the wall takes a wheel and runs it across, and every single one of those boards slap out. So
that's awesome.
That's probably my favorite. And that's not even my idea. It's something that my carpenter came up with, JC. So, but that's the thing that I like the most this year.
Nice.
Those carpenters, man.
And hopefully, hopefully with scheduling it well, I've already seen that this October. So. But I told you. You told me yours. I'll tell you mine. Our big thing. We've had a homemade vortex at the farm for like 10 years, and it's really well done. But gave us a lot of trouble last year. It's really been warping, taking some damage. So we're doing laser fog vortex this year.
Whoa.
Storm, we have one of those. You'll be surprised at the effect you get. Is it the Garage of Evil style?
No. We're bringing in the big guns for this one. This is going to be a professional, I think $600 laser setup because we got to make sure that it runs every night, 15 nights, and runs strong. It's the opening to our walkthrough. So it's
use the Garage of Evil style, and just the effect, you'll love it. It's amazing.
Oh, I've been through a few. It's going to be a neat change. I haven't seen many in New England, so it's going to be a nice new thing, and really treat some of our guests. We re-theme each year, but it's nice to throw in a nice big new effect to really get it going.
Excellent. Well, gentlemen, unfortunately, we do have to wrap this up. This is the part of the show we affectionately like to call the plugs. So if you do have a website, a Facebook, a Twitter, or anything like that, and if you want to give the dates of your home haunts, I know you're not open, quote-unquote, a full season, except for maybe Vic, but if you want to give out the websites, dates you're open, and basically where people can quickly find you, let's start with Chris.
Yeah, the home haunt's going to be open October 30th and 31st, keeping it short and sweet. In terms of a website to support it, of course, the marketer hasn't created his own website to support it, but people can get in touch with me or our efforts, see what's going on at hauntopolis.com, and they can get lots of information, and they can reach out if they have any questions for me or just want to chat.
And they can maybe get subscription information to the
magazine. That'd be fantastic. Yes, of course, that would be mucho appreciated.
Certainly. How about you, Alan?
We'll be open October 18th, 19th, 25th, and 26th. 4 nights. It's a bigger season for us. We normally only do 1 night. You can check us out on our website, which is www.backwoodsoddity.com, and the woods ends with a Z instead of an S. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search Backwoods Oddities, and you'll find us.
And Victor.
Gully Manor will be open every weekend in October, and the last weekend of September, and we've got some additional dates. So you can go to ghoulimanor.com, and you can buy tickets online as well. And, if you're still jonesing for home haunts in Fairhaven, Manny, I've seen Manny working on his haunt. It's looking pretty good, and the Broders are doing their thing again this year. So
excellent. So everybody go check out your local home haunts. Everybody has got to be within somewhat of a close distance of somebody, whether it's that guy, that girl, or somebody in some neighborhood, thousands of them around the country. Home haunters are basically the foundation that the entire industry is built on, because as people like Vic, once a home haunter, you take that step to go professional, and I'll guarantee you the majority of people out there who are professional haunt owners probably got their start as home and yard haunters. Well, we want to thank very much our guests, including Victor Barito up in Massachusetts from Ghoulie Manor. We want to thank Alan Schell from Backwoods Oddities in Waverly, Ohio, and Chris Trubella. Again, I got that right, I think.
Wow, that's good.
It's a triple. In Oshawa, Ontario, for coming on the Big Scary Show's Roundtable of Terror to talk about home haunting, yard haunting, and all things of that ilk, along with our hosts, including Storm.
Take the Big Scary Show challenge, put the player in the car, drive around Halloween night, check out all your local home haunts. And if you're lucky, it's one of these guys you just heard today.
And the unknown scare actor.
Storm left me speechless.
Unfortunately, the haunt marker Jerry Vane was unable to be with us tonight, so I'll just say, rock on Slayer! So, because that's something he would say. My name is Drew Badger, probably getting ready to go out and check out a couple of local home haunts that I know of in my town. This is the Roundtable of Terror on the Big Scary Show.
Are you a fan of the alternative lifestyle? Do you like horror films and gaming reviews? How about Drop Dead Gorgeous Ladies? If you answered yes, then you need to check out Stiff Mag. Stiff Mag is a bi-monthly horror, alternative culture, and entertainment publication that features our horror film reviews, our tech from the crypt, and graveyard gaming features, killer reading, literary features, music reviews, columns, and of course our beautiful graveyard girls. For subscription information, visit stiffmag.com. That's stiffmag.com.
Broadcasting to you from the darkest reaches of the earth. This is the Haunt Minute. And now, with this week's commentary, Storm.
All right. You know what? It's amazing the type of behavior that people think they can get away with at a haunted attraction when they attend it. The things they do there and expect to get away with, you couldn't do anywhere else. Could you imagine if somebody walked into Target and tried to ask for a high five from every single employee that went along? You'd be locked up as a crazy person in 10 minutes. Absolutely doesn't make sense. The other ones I can't understand. When you go into a movie theater, walk up to the usher and go, "Is this entertaining?" Yeah, it's the same thing as if people ask, "Is this scary?" in line. The acceptable behavior people think it is to really act up, to throw the punches and be stupid. It's like, would you pay and go to a theater, walk up on stage, and punch the lead role in the face? There are actually people who think they get away with that. I can never understand why people get, high or absolutely tanked, come to a haunted attraction and thinks it's acceptable, and their friends think it's funny. You know, if you did this anyplace else, you get your ass thrown out. Absolutely doesn't make sense to me. The only good thing that's going for it is, well, we're a haunted attraction industry, so, you know, we luck out in some things, and, you know, it is entertainment, it is private property, so you act up, you're gone. No ticket price, no refund, you know, it's at the discretion of the owners. Goodbye. You know, hang in there. It's always the 1%, and the number of people who come through each night, 1% of them are going to be jerks. It can happen anyplace else, but hey, hang in there, guys. Good job. Until next time, keep every minute scary.
Tune in next episode for another Haunt Minute. And in the meantime, share your opinions on the Big Scary Show Facebook page and on Twitter at Big Scary Storm.
Hey, this is Josh Gates from Sci-Fi's Destination Truth, encouraging you to check out hauntminute.com.
Hello everybody, Drew Badger live out here in Cottage Grove, Minnesota, having a good time at Crypticon. Of course, you can't go to a convention without heading out to a haunted experience, so what did we do? We got on a bus and we went to a haunting experience. What's the name of it? Well, a haunting experience on 61, if I'm correct. Is that right?
That is correct.
I got Bill Zivick here, the owner of a haunting experience on 61. Been here 20 plus years. A haunted hayride, a haunted house. How you doing, Bill?
Doing real well.
Now, as this is opening night, it's late September. It's a little warm for Minnesota. I came up here expecting to see snow, but then that's because I'm from the south, and anything below 50 I think should be snowing. But how's it been for you this year?
It's been good. This is our first night. We got about an 80-degree night, a little bit of wind. Can't ask for anything better than that.
And tomorrow's probably going to be 60 and rainy, so typical, more seasonal, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit about what you got going out here. You've been around here for over 20 years. I mean, you've got a landscape service, you got a pumpkin patch, you got a corn maze, you got a nursery here, it looks like. So I'm guessing that's your quote-unquote real job when you're not having fun doing this stuff. But what can people expect when they go walking into or riding into a haunted experience on 61?
Well, what we've got is we've got 2 haunted houses. We've got our 3D house, our clown house, and actually then we have our main haunted house. And then once you make it through those, we'll get you out on the hayride of horror.
And the hayride of horror probably took, almost a good half hour out there. It was a lot of fun, and I saw some zombie shooting going on. That seems to be a new thing and a big thing going on around the country these days.
Yes, that's our new added attraction, Big Zombie Hunter, and it's been going over great.
So a lot of people going out there killing the undead, it sounds like. How has the haunt, shall we say, progressed over the last couple of decades? You know, I've talked to some people who've gone to Trans World and see a lot of things, and they get a lot of ideas, and they come back and build. I mean, do you grow every year? Do you redo everything every year? Do you keep it up permanently here? How does that work out?
Well, yeah, we're constantly making changes. We originally were just we did the haunted hayride. Probably in the last 15 years, we've added the haunted houses. We're constantly changing things. Probably sometimes too much, but we want to keep it fresh and new. So we've been changing everything quite a bit.
And I have to say, one of the benefits of coming out here, you've got absolutely one of the best pork chops I've ever had. You know, you've got a really nice concession area here, you know, good food and everything. That's always a plus when it comes to having a haunted house, is keeping the people here so they can sit down and eat and then go back and do something else.
Yes, well, you know, the haunt itself takes about 45 minutes. So you're going to spend a little bit of time here. We want to make sure you've got good food and good drink.
And beer, too, I noticed.
Yes, we have the local Lions Club does beer on Fridays and Saturday nights.
I guess you couldn't be Minnesota without having a little bit of beer out here, too, would you?
No, you got to have beer, especially on these hot nights or even the cold nights.
Absolutely. So for people interested in maybe coming out here, I mean, obviously it's right off Highway 61, about, half hour out of Minneapolis, I'm guessing, somewhere in that area, Cottage Grove here. Do you have a website, how people can get directions, tickets, more information about the haunt?
Yeah, we're on hauntingexperience.com. You get all your directions. You can get tickets online. or here right at our garden center by day, haunting experience at night. Like I say, we're just 20 minutes from St. Paul, about a half hour from Minneapolis, right on Highway 61.
Excellent. Well, Bill, it's been a pleasure to speak to you. We've had a great time going through here at the Haunting Experience on 61 out here, Cottage Grove, Minnesota, correct?
That is correct.
Cottage Grove, Minnesota. Out here while checking out Crypticon. My name is Drew Badger for The Big Scary Show, and we are out.
Audio Zombie, The Living Dead, on The Big Scary Show.
Everybody, Drew Badger live out on the road somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Actually, I'm in Albemarle, North Carolina, here at the Maze of Terror. A really, really beautiful set of corn I'm looking at right now. It's got to be 12 to 15 feet tall. Sorry, Upper Midwest. They've got good corn down here in the Carolinas this year. And the Maze of Terror just happens to be one of the better corn mazes you'll go to if you get out there in the Piedmont, North Carolina. I got Kent Louder out here, the owner, operator, Big Cheese. How you doing, Kent?
Doing great. How are you?
We're doing good. Tell us a little bit about Maze of Terror. You've been here 7 years, and you got a lot of things going on out here.
Correct. Yes, we have the nighttime maze, the Maze of Terror. We also have a corn maze during the day, Get Lost Corn Maze. Visit that site at getlostcornmaze.com. We have several activities during the day you can do, as well as the Haunted Trail at night.
So it's kind of a family event. People come out here, maybe do a little pumpkin shopping, go out through the corn maze during the day, and then they tend to stay and do the corn or the Maze of Terror at night.
Yes, we have some that do that, and then we also have some that just travel just to come to the Haunted Trail itself.
Now, you're a little bit different than other corn mazes that I've been to, at least over the last couple of years, because you actually don't start the corn maze here at the entrance. You actually have to, like, ship people to wherever it is out there they go.
Yes, we take them out in the middle of nowhere on the backside so they don't have a chance to get to their car. If they can handle the ride back there, they venture through the corn and through the woods and then back up toward the front later on.
And it's not a traditional hay wagon type, hay maze type thing either.
No, that'd be too easy. We have a surprise that we drive them back in on, and you never know. Some of them make it through the ride and some of them don't.
Yeah, you were telling me that you the other night you had, almost 20% of the people could not make it through the maze. You gave me a number, and you said this many people got thrown out, and doing a little math in my head, it's close to 20% of the people either didn't make it off the, shall we say, vehicle that took them out there, because there's a couple of little surprises there that I'm not going to mention, or they couldn't make it past the first scare in the maze.
That is correct. Last week on opening night, we, I think it was a little over 20%, actually, about 100 feet into it, decided they'd had enough and was ready to come back out.
And what made you decide to take a patch out here and just, 7 or 8 years ago said, I'm just going to throw a haunted house out here or throw a haunted maze out here?
Well, we started with the corn maze and decided to do that for some family fun out here, and then we got to ponder an idea about the haunted trail and do that for some fundraisers for local events.
Okay, so it started out more as a charity type of fundraising type thing, and it just kind of exploded from there, it sounds like.
That's right, that's exactly.
Now, are you one of these guys that goes out and picks some gigantic, elaborate design in the corn maze, and you send a mower through, and it looks like either like a bald eagle holding a howitzer over Ronald Reagan or something, or presidents or anything like that, or is this just kind of a nobody knows where this trail's going when you start?
No, we have a design. This year's actually Noah's Ark mode into the cornfield.
Okay.
So,
you just can't see it from here.
No, you can't see it from here. You have to be in an airplane, but we do have aerial photos on site so you can see it.
Oh, neat. Is that something you do every year? You design a scene of some sort and then you come out and cut it, or is that recent?
No, every year we design something different, depending on what we got in mind. But we change it up every year.
Very cool. I love hay rides, and I love corn mazes, and I love being outdoors on a night like this. It's a little bit warm tonight here, but this is the Carolinas, and we don't drop down in the 40s until very late in October. How's the season been for you? Last year was down all over the nation, and you said you were up a little bit, but numbers have been good, I assume, and I assume that you're going to be even better than last year, hopefully.
Yes, we expect them to be numbers to grow again this year, and especially this year with the corn. Like you said, we've got some 12, close to 15-foot tall corn out there, and it's just been a blessing.
And it has actually been very spooky too. I've been through the maze just a little while ago, and the nighttime sky, you could see a few clouds out there, and if you haven't been through 15-foot corn in the middle of the night with no lights and all you hear are screams off in the distance, it can be quite an event.
That's correct. That is correct.
For people in the immediate area from, say, Charlotte to Salisbury, Albemarle, Monroe, anywhere in the southern Piedmont of North Carolina looking to have a family day and or evening of fun, you have a website, social media, anything like that where people can get information on the Maze of Terror?
Yes. Website is themazeofterror.com. We also getlostcornmaze.com. And Get Lost Corn Maze has a Facebook page where you can follow us on there also.
Fantastic, Kent Louder, I'm sorry. It's been a pleasure to come out here and have a good time out here at the Maze of Terror in Albemarle, North Carolina. My name is Drew Badger for The Big Scary Show, and I am out.
Do you hear that? The asylum is being overrun. It's time to go to Von Caron Productions and check out the Insane Ensemble. For those troublesome lunatics, They have the commitment coat, a straitjacket designed to keep them restrained. Or, if you're the doctor who likes to experiment, then the psychosurgical coat was made just for you. Go to Von Charon Productions, www.voncharon.com. That's VONCHARON, Von Charon Productions. Get there before you too are infected by the madness.
Hello, everybody. Drew Badger live on the road. I am in Vail. Unfortunately, not Vail, Colorado. Beautiful Vail, North Carolina, out here at Terror by the Creek. Great haunt out here, run by Mr. Eric DeStasio. How are you doing, sir?
All right. How are you doing?
Good. This is opening weekend. You know, actors just kind of starting to feel their way around. Everything's trying to get into the rhythm. How was opening night?
It was great. It was a very well-deserved opening night this year.
Excellent. And you have deserved that because, you know, there have been a lot of issues in this area. We had a lot of rain over the summer. You actually had the bridge washed out here not too long ago. So, I mean, you know, this area here, this is an actual mill, so it is by the creek, and, you know, Terror by the Creek, obviously, and with some flooding damage and some stuff like that, but you got it all open in time for opening night.
Yes, we did, and it was a wonderful feeling. We worked really hard, and I pray everybody that helped us.
Excellent, and of course, give kudos to the crew and everything. Tell us a little bit about Terror by the Creek. Somebody in the Charlotte area or Hickory area or something driving through and sees these signs, and I love your advertising. You take these real estate signs and you just basically put them in almost every intersection I can see for like 50 miles in every direction.
That 50 miles is exactly how far we go.
Really? Because
yes,
I have seen you in Charlotte, and I've seen you in Hickory, and I've seen you all Point Shelby and all that. But when somebody comes out here, what can they expect to see at Terror by the Creek?
A historic grist mill that was built in 1890. A whole lot of wonderful people working. It has the real smells. The spider webs are real. The wood is beautiful. It's just a natural old mill that you just don't see no more.
And let's be honest here. It's creepy in the daytime, not just here at night with the lights and the fog and the music and the screams.
Yes, it is. It's very creepy in the daytime.
Is it a haunted grist mill? Anybody ever have experiences? You've been here a long time. Anybody had any kind of things going on?
There is a lot of stuff that goes on here. You can ask any actor you'd like, and they've all had their own touch with it. Even my mother in the ticket booth.
Your mother in the ticket booth has had haunted ticket booth. Now, there's something I hadn't thought of. So, you're not a particularly themed haunt. You're basically a clown room, jump scare, mad scientist, all that kind of stuff.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Excellent.
What I want is somebody to go, oh my God.
You get any, shall we say, bodily fluids ejected from customers?
We do. Both ends sometimes.
Oh, God. Any prizes for actors who do that?
Yes, we do. And it varies from year to year. It's just according on who it is, what it is, and how the year goes.
And that's what we like to hear. Like to hear the good stories about the person running away with the pants dripping, shall we say.
My favorite was when we put a girl in the trunk.
Go into details on that. Did you physically, actors put her in the trunk? Or did
we
she?
Get special requests sometimes, and we'll go to the person's car, and they took the woman up, got her at the car, and she run around and around and around the car, couldn't get the door open. She hit the key fob, trunk popped open, she jumped in, closed the lid.
Oh, that's fabulous.
And my actors got tipped $5.
I love that. So for anybody interested, running through the southern Piedmont of North Carolina, you're running down 85, 77, 40. You're about 30 minutes off of each of them, it seems. How can they get information? They got a website, or they see one of these real estate signs everywhere. How can they get some pictures, maybe some ticket prices, schedules, and all that?
TerrorByTheCreek.com.
TerrorByTheCreek.com. Mr. Eric DeStasio, a distinct pleasure of having you here, or having me out here at Terror by the Creek down here in Vail, North Carolina, getting ready to go through and check out all the cool stuff for the Big Scary Show. My name is Drew Badger, and I am out.
Sam Haynes, All Hallows, on the Big Scary Show.
Hello, everybody. Drew Badger out here live on the road talking to all the haunt owners. We are in Sawmills, North Carolina, talking to the folks from Horror Fields. Mr. Jamie, is it Benj?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We talked a couple of years ago. I came through your haunt. It was a cornfield, had a good maze to it, had a few scenes. A couple of years later, let's just say you have upped the ante quite a bit.
Oh yeah. Last year we had a lots bigger haunt, and then this year we've just went crazy. We're doing
You've got an asylum, you've got a clown room, you've got, this castle-looking structure out here at the front. I mean, you guys have gone incredible here. I dare say you've got to be one of the top haunts in the state right now.
That sounds good, Badger. Yeah, our guys, they work, day and night. We're here from, 8 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock in the morning, just getting things set up. Man, I'm telling you, this year from last year, it's 100% different, and I owe it all to my guys who've been working on it all season.
Well, we got to give them kudos, of course. Everybody just worked hard. The acting is stellar this year. I mean, you had a lot more dialogue than I remember in the past. You got a lot more stories going on. You actually make people wait and listen to stories, which is good. I like that. Even at the very beginning here, I mean, you've really, really upped the ante here. So this is. I'm super impressed on this. I've been to a lot of haunts already, and this has got to be one of my favorites so far. How's the undead paintball going on, by the way?
Undead paintball is a challenge. Last year was our first year with it, and we had so many problems with the costumes. Now the guns and the trailers themselves are great, but the costuming was a tough issue. We got that
just
worked out.
Trying to keep people from literally getting killed, or what?
Just the costumes were blowing apart every night.
Really?
Having to rebuild them. But we found a recipe that works, and it works really well. None of our guys are getting hurt or anything, and this year it's a breeze. Everything's going really well at paintball.
So you've got the paintball going on, you've got the horror fields here. The trail itself took a lot longer, it seems. It took us. It had to have been at least 40 minutes for us to get through this one thing.
Oh yeah, that was one of our things we wanted to add this year was a lot of time to the trail, and with our actors doing the fantastic job they do, it's not that hard to make a long trail.
Is that affecting your throughput in any way? Actually having them to sit or stand and watch and listen for a few minutes, or are your numbers are they still just going through every few seconds, or what?
It's like anything. At the first of the season, you're not real busy, so you do what you can, and then when you start getting busier, you tell your guys, cut it down just a little bit, but put on a quality show. And our actors are so experienced, and that's what they've done. Tonight was pretty busy, and they cut it down quite a bit, and it still apparently turned out pretty good.
Well, I cannot say anything bad about Horror Fields except for the fact that I am done going through it. So, I may have to come back up later in the season and when the actors have even got a little bit more experience. You've only been open, 2 weeks now?
This is our fourth day open.
Fourth day open, and the actors look like they're in mid-season form. It's great. I'm enjoying the dialogue. I'm enjoying what the guys have been talking about, and I enjoy the stories that they're telling.
Well, good. We wanted to have a good story this year. We had one of our cast members was our main character, John Moore. Some of you know him, and he passed away this summer,
Yes,
and we had
our condolences.
We had to change the storyline some, but we kept him in the haunt. We have pictures of him, and we kept his memory alive inside the haunt this year, and that's something we're all proud of.
And I did not fail to notice that you have at least 2 spots in the haunt where it is a very nice tribute to Mr. John Moore, who was a very good actor and a very good friend of ours.
Yeah, we all miss him, and he's one of the good ones, and it's hard to find a good actor, and he was one of them.
Absolutely. For those traveling along I-40, maybe 321 in the Hickory area, Asheville, Statesville, Charlotte, Raleigh, anywhere along the interstate, and they want to make the 10-minute drive up north up 321 to Sawmills to come out and check out all the cool things. What's the website, the social media? How can they get a hold of you guys for tickets and other information?
That would be horrorfields.com or undeadpaintball.com. And also, if you want to if you're going to come this area and you want to find some other haunts right here close, you can go to hickoryhaunts.com, and we've got 6 other haunts around us. You can make a night of it.
So hickoryhaunts.com is basically kind of a collection of all the haunts in the area.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys work together as far as buy a ticket here, get a half price here, or work some deals out like that?
Hickory Haunts is brand new for last year. We haven't quite got that far yet, but we work and advertise with the other haunts around.
Excellent. Well, Jamie, again, third year in operation here at Horror Fields. I wish you nothing but success, and I highly encourage a bunch of people to come out and check this out, because if you came year 1 or year 2, you will not recognize Horror Fields year 3. So thanks again for letting us come through. My name is Drew Badger, out here in beautiful foothills of North Carolina for the Big Scary Show, and I am out.
It's 2013. How do you keep up with all your customers who are on the go? The answer? HauntApps.com. HauntApps is designed to provide your haunted attraction with a direct line of communication to your customers via the iOS or iPhone and Android applications. Some features you will find with HauntApps include customized branding with your attraction's logos, an interface that works for your needs, iPad enhancement for the iOS, audio-video playback, direct communication, and the option for online ticketing. Let HauntApps do all the hard work so you can concentrate on scaring the customers. That's HauntApps.com for your mobile application needs.
Greetings, haunters. The Unknown Scare Actor here. Normally at this point in the show, I'm putting the outro in and getting ready to wrap things up. But you know, Brian Wolf meant a lot to all of us. Not just here at the Big Scary Show, but everybody in the haunt community. And I wanted to share an interview that Badger and I did with him back in May of this year at Halloween Extreme in Orlando. This is the last time that Badger and I got to see Brian in person.
Hello, everybody. Drew Badger here, live on the floor of the Halloween Extreme down here in beautiful Orlando, Florida. We're having a good time talking to all the vendors, lots of people out here, and a man who down here is no stranger to the haunt industry, beloved by all, and you know the story of Brian Wolf. We've talked about him. We talked about what happened to him last summer with the diagnosis of cancer and everything. One half of the Wolf brothers, world-famous body painters and makeup artists and everything. We knew that there was a possibility he would be able to come down here, and sure enough, he's feeling good, having a good day today. Brian is on the floor, and Brian is sitting with us. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing great today.
Tell us a little bit about, because I don't know if anyone's actually sat down and chatted with you about this. What happened back last July or so when you went to the doctor complaining about some weird feelings and stuff, and what's kind of happened along your journey since then?
Well, it started off with a stomach ache, and I never got stomach aches. I was always iron gut. I could always funnel a beer or eat a double cheeseburger, no problem. And so I was getting stomach aches and went to the doctor to check it out, and that's when they said it was pancreatic cancer, and I only had a few months to live.
That's got to be kind of a shock. You know, we saw you at Midwest and everything. You looked all happy and cheerful, as always, and everything. And all of a sudden, a few weeks later, we start seeing all these messages on various sources about, oh, my God, I'm so sorry, praying for you, this, that, and the other.
Yeah. It was very sudden, and it was a shock. But like anything, you know, you can either like it or lump it. So we've been doing our best to accept the situation. I can't help the cancer, but I can help how I think about it. So I try to keep my thoughts positive, and it's been 11 months since my diagnosis. And they said I had no more than 8. So
you're doing great at this point, it sounds like.
So yeah, they really don't know what to do with me now, because usually everybody in my shoes is dead by now. So they're trying different stuff. I just went on a new kind of drug yesterday, and a new combination of drugs to see if that does anything, and I got some natural herbalistic healing stuff in the wings too, you know, just in case the doctors fail. I got the other way to go too. I got all that in my cabinet. My fans and friends have been sending me all kinds of crazy remedies, from hemp oil to carrots to soursop soup, all kinds of stuff. So I have a little bit of everything. I got holy water, I got Kabbalah bracelet, I got all kinds of stuff. And then every time we do better, it seems like someone says, "Yep, that's modern medicine for you," or "Yep, I knew that Jesus would do it for you," or "Yes, thank God for the positive powers of the universe, or like everybody's got their own story of who's in charge and what's going to happen next. But truth is, I don't know, and I don't think anybody else knows either. But
I knew that was my crystal that was making it go away.
Yeah. But I appreciate the crystals. I got them all. Next to my bed, all my stuff, and I wear my T-shirts and hats and everything that everybody sends me, and they say, hey, whoever wears this hat will heal. Whoever I've sent a hat to, got over it. I'm like, all right, well, send me a hat then.
Hey, you're 3 months past your quota expiration date, so something seems to be working.
Yeah, and I'll be here painting faces from noon to 1 and talking about it, how to do it fast. I'm going to cater to the hunters, and that should be pretty easy. An hour shouldn't be so bad.
So I talked to Brian at Canadian Hunters Convention, and Nick, your brother. I still can't tell you two apart. You've got hair on your head and all this. It's like crazy.
I lost some weight too, so everybody's been mixing me up.
But he was saying, basically you're doing good. You have your good days, your bad days, and everything. But it's like you said a little while ago, it's the attitude. He was like, you can do something about the attitude, and that certainly seems to be like you mentioned a little while ago. You're not having to stress about the work and everything. You can concentrate on the healing. And he's basically saying that you're fighting this, and we've seen the pictures, and you play little jokes on your wife, like you look in the bathroom mirror and there's a little spot, and you're like, honey, is this something look bad to you, or something like that. He says that you just got that great sense of humor that you guys are both known for.
Well, I don't got a choice, as I see it, like it or lump it. And so, yeah, of course, we're all making the best of it. We all have our bad days too, but hey, like I said, I'm here today. If I can go to a haunt show on my day I'm feeling good, well then, get me a ticket. Let's go.
Tell us about the book that just came out.
It's called Fun Face Painting Ideas for Kids, but it's really not a kid's book. It's like a sequel to our Extreme Face Painting book. There's monsters in there, and there's easy designs, medium designs, and tough designs in there as well. So I would say it was a book for everybody, for the whole family, and there's some stuff for the haunters in there too. So we're pretty happy with it. Best one we've done, and the second one we've published with Impact Books, and it's at Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble, and probably be at your local haunt convention. They'll be selling there too.
Sure. Spirit Halloween, or so, like the story we went last year in Columbus. They had pictures of you guys on the boxes of makeup and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, you never know, man. We went to Finland last year and found our book in Finnish on the shelf right in the store. We're like, no way! We're jumping up and down and screaming, and the lady is just looking at us like we're crazy. And we're like, hey, did you want us to autograph these books? We're all the way from America, and here we are in this little town in Finland. And she's just like, okay. We're like, well, do you have a pen or something? She's like ignored us. And we're like, well, okay, that didn't go quite the way that I thought it was going to go, but let's at least pick one up. But then the company ended up sending us a couple copies of each, and they printed it in 8 different languages. So we got a whole stack of stuff in Spanish and French and Finnish and even Slovakian, which.
So if you find another book in a different language, you could always just pick it up and say, does this look familiar?
Yeah. Well, it was cool learning what all the names of all of our characters were in those different languages. So we were like, oh, how do you say wolf in Finnish? And how do you say alien in Finnish? And how do you say werewolf in Finnish? So it's pretty fun.
So for, your brother couldn't be here today. He's out working another appearance down in Lauderdale, I believe. Do you have anything tentative, or have people still contacted you and say, if you feel up to it, come see us, or?
No, I'm taking a break. Nick's working it. He's, usually I did the booking part of the business, so he's finding out how much fun that can be.
Yeah, he mentioned that, something at Transworld about, oh my God, I don't know how to book things.
Yeah, he's appreciating me right now, but no, I'm going to take it easy till I can get this thing licked, and but you never know if there's something in town, it's close and it's short and stuff like that, and I'm feeling good, I'll definitely drop by, but you can write me on Facebook or eviltwineffects.com, and I'm still keeping in touch with everybody, so I'd be happy to answer any questions or anything. Sure.
And we know about the Brian Wolf Fight for Life at GoFundMe.com/Brian Wolf for people who want to make contributions to help pay your bills and help and send messages of support and all that.
That's what's been actually keeping me afloat. That's what's been keeping my stress off the bills, and it's amazing how the haunted community around the whole world and the face and body artists and stuff came together and really been hooking the family up. And here's a shout out to all of them. Thank you so much for all the love and support.
Anything you'd like to tell your fans out there, obviously, since you're not traveling around and can't talk to them as much, if you want to use us as a medium to just, tell everybody, what you thought over the years with all the fan support and everything.
I think, everybody that knows me knows what I would say, and, I don't know, just be good out there, guys, because that always feels better, and be good to each other, because that always feels better, too, and I'm not going away anytime soon. I'll be around, and my books will be around forever, I guess, and videos and stuff like that.
And the legend of the Wolf Brothers will continue on.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, it has been an absolute distinct pleasure, and very happy that we were able to get you down to the table here. I know you've got a seminar and a little face painting to do in a little bit. We wish you all the best in the world on all fronts, continued success, and let's see if we can't beat this thing, okay?
Okay, sounds great. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Once again, with the unknown scare actor and Drew Badger here at Halloween Extreme, Brian, we're wishing you the best. Good luck. We'll talk to you soon. This is us at Halloween Extreme in Orlando, Florida for the Big Scary Show, and we are out.
As we slide back into the swamp where we hid the body, we would like to thank the following people and others. We'd like to thank all the haunt owners, both home and professional, for coming on the show to talk about their respective haunts. Remember to support your local haunted houses, both home and professional. We'd like to thank Jen Braverman for coming on and talking about the Legendary Haunt Tour, legendaryhaunttour.com. Virgil Franklin, Master of the Ether Muse. Von Charon Productions, Von Charon, VONCHARON.com. Screamline Studios at screamlinestudios.com. We'd also like to thank The Four Ghosts, Storm, catch his ramblings at hauntminute.com. The Unknown Scare Actor, videos and more, unknownscareactor.com. The haunt rocker Jerry Vane, be sure to pick up his latest CD, Virus 308, on jerryvane.com. And Drew Badger, actor, trainer, consultant, and more, rabidbadger.biz. Be sure to tell us what you think. Send feedback to us at feedback@bigscaryshow.com. And keep sending in those news items, news@bigscaryshow.com. Be sure to follow and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/bigscaryshow. Make sure to follow us on our new Twitter account at The Big Scary Show. We just may occasionally tweet out some information that you won't find anywhere else. Be sure to search for The Big Scary Show on iTunes. And while you're there, please give us a review. We would appreciate it a lot. Tune in next time when we bring you the latest news and information from the world of haunting and horror. And thank you once again for listening. Without you, we are nothing. Good night, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and others. This is The Big Scary Show.
The Big Scary Show is comedy.
It is time for our 2012 roundup of ghost stories. My name is Tony Bruschi from NewTasteToday.com and Real Ghost Stories Online. This year I've actually added in a website that's all about ghost stories, so if you want to hear more of those, you can check those out there at RealGhostStoriesOnline.com. This is the long-form version of the show that we put together for you once a year. It is a compilation of calls and stories from real people who believe they've experienced something that is, frankly, quite unexplained. And, of course, it describes what we call ghosts. So these are real ghost stories from real people. Over the next 20 to 30 minutes, you're going to hear some stories that really, really make you question what it is that's going on around us. Because clearly, there's a lot of people that are having a lot of odd things happening to them. So sit back, relax, maybe crack open a cold one, or pour yourself a glass of wine and enjoy Real Ghost Stories from Real People 2012. Go ahead, caller.
I'm at my dad's house, and I was living there. I was 19 years old, and I was walking up the staircase, and I ran into a silhouette of a woman, and it was all black, and I started screaming and crying. When I ran into her, I mean, it was a figure of an old woman. You could tell her hair was long. It was all black. I ran into her, and I fell to my knees and just started crying. It was so scary.
So did you physically run into her?
Correct. I ran right into her and then kind of just stopped what I was doing and just yelled real loud at my stepmom.
Did you physically feel anything?
No, I never felt anything. Just seen her and kind of ran into her. And as soon as I ran into her, that's when I was in such shock that I was just crying and crying hysterically. That my mom met me at the end of the stairs, and I told her the people who live there about a year before we moved in the house, they died upstairs on the main level in their bedroom, the husband and the wife. The wife died last, so I think that was the wife.
That is a spooky story. It really makes you wonder, when you do pass on, are you relegated to staying in your house? Do you have to stay and then do the same things you always did as a ghost? Or can you venture out? Maybe you just want to stay where you're at. Maybe you're in that place where it's so comfortable that's where you want to be. I don't know. Let's go to the next ghost story. Yes, you're on the air.
I live in a haunted trailer.
Okay.
There's a guy named Craig that killed himself in my trailer.
Okay.
And he's still here.
How is he still there? Explain to us what's going on.
I have two spirits in my house.
Okay.
One is nice, and that's Craig, and then one is very not nice. I see him all the time. He's just really evil looking. He bangs on the walls. He walks up and down the hallways. I live here with my husband and my two daughters. Mm-hmm. And he is just not a nice man. Craig is nice. The feeling that we get when we see Craig is he's lost.
And you physically see him?
We see this other entity. And yes, he's been seen by all of us.
Now, how do you know that it's Craig?
By the people that have told us, our neighbors.
Okay.
Have told us what has happened, and also by just from what he looks like. There's a picture of him. We've seen a picture of him.
What you've seen in the entity matches what you've seen in the picture.
Yes.
That right there would have to be a moment that really takes you aback, where suddenly you realize that the image that you have been seeing floating around your house matches up to an image that was taken of someone when they were alive who's no longer here. Let's go to another ghost story. Yes.
I was a couple years ago. I was sitting in my room, and it was really late at night. It was about midnight when I woke up, and I was thirsty. So I went out into the kitchen to get a drink, and I got my water, and then I turned around, and there was a shadow on the wall, and I didn't know what it was. And there was nothing or no one there to make the shadow.
I'm assuming the shadow looked like a person.
Yeah, it was like just a weird kind of shape, and it wasn't like anything in the room that could make that, and there's no way I could have made that shadow. Mm-hmm. And then I blinked, and it was gone. Like, it just disappeared.
So it didn't move anywhere. It just dispelled itself.
Yeah.
You hear a lot of stories about that, shadow people, where people see shadows on the wall, on the grounds, and there's nothing there making those shadows. It makes you wonder, what could those shadows be? And necessarily, are they dark? Is it, meaning a dark force or a dark entity, or is it just the way that whatever that energy is, it presenting itself? It's just in the form of a shadow. Very, very curious. Let's go to our next ghost story.
Every morning I would go into my bathroom, get ready, and every morning for the longest time I would have something touch my right ankle. Like, somebody does along your arm.
Sure.
And it would do that. I finally one morning had enough of it, told it to quit, and it hasn't touched me since.
So you just speaking out loud
Yes.
and asking whatever that was to stop made it stop. Do you have any suspicions as to what it may have been?
Have no idea. It's also sat on my bed in my bedroom.
How do you know that?
You could actually see the indentation of something sitting in the bed.
Is your house old or anything like that?
Our house was built in 1952.
So there has been quite a few people that have come and gone from it.
Yes.
If only the old saying, if those walls could talk, what exactly would they be telling us? What sort of stories do they have within them? More ghost stories. Let's hear yours.
Okay, my son and my future daughter-in-law real soon, and they have a little boy, my grandson. They moved into this one place, and he took all of his toys out of his room one night and laid them in the hallway and said, they asked him what he was doing, and he said, I can't go in that room because there's a man in there. He'll be 3 in February. Won't sleep in the room because that guy's in there. They put a nightlight in there for him, and every time they turn the light on, the light bulb burns out.
Really?
Yeah. And so they moved it into the living room, thinking, oh, maybe it's just a plug-in. But this light will stay on in the living room forever and ever. They put it back in the bedroom, and the light bulb burns out. The guy that used to live there, he was an older man. He wouldn't even go in that room. He kept the door closed.
Did he say why he wouldn't go in that room?
He just said he kept hearing noises and stuff in there.
What can children see that we can't? It makes you wonder, because you have so many stories out there of very young children seeing something that the adults in the situations can't. You see it a lot with pets and animals as well. And I think we've all had an animal or a pet of some sort that's looking at something in the room that we clearly cannot see there. But if you watch children's eyes too sometimes, it almost is that same way where they appear to be looking at something and you're wondering, what are you so intently staring on that we can't see? Let's go to another ghost story.
I live in a haunted house in western Kansas.
Okay, tell us about your haunted house.
It was built in 1880. There was a gunslinger that was shot and killed right outside my living room window back in the late 1800s. And U.S. Marshal Dugan McCall shot and killed and buried him right there. So he's just buried like 70 feet from my living room window. It's a limestone house. We've had banisters shake. I've heard cowboy boots walking in the room above the kitchen, which I went up to investigate to see because I was home alone. There's carpet on the floor up there.
So there'd be no reason for the sound of boots on wood.
No. My husband and I spent 3 hours hanging all the kids and grandkids' pictures up, and our picture was right in the middle, and it was in this one corner of the living room. Came down the next morning, our picture was on the floor broken, and all the pictures were crooked.
That sounds like something that really is trying to show you a sign that it doesn't want you there.
We moved the pictures, and I hung this antique-looking lantern up, and he loves that corner now.
Ghosts from the Wild West. How far back has someone seen a ghost from? I've always wondered that, because it seems that when you hear a ghost story, it usually goes back, 50, 60, 70 years. Some stories like that, maybe, around 100, 150. But it's rare to hear a ghost story where the entities or ghosts are beyond that. I suppose maybe it's just kind of a sign of the environment that we're hearing the ghost stories from in the United States. They can only go back 200, 300, 400 years. But in other countries where the established buildings and architecture do they have ghost stories where the ghosts are much, much older, I wonder?
I rented a trailer from a gentleman, and I had no idea what had happened, but we always had a very cold room in the house. One day I was sitting on my living room sofa, and I seen footprints walking across my carpet, and I did some checking into it and found out that there was a young couple that used to live in that, and the gentleman had gone crazy and stabbed her in their bedroom.
Wow, okay.
And every once in a while, me and my kids would be sitting there, and I'd have gentlemen come to my house. They were friends and stuff, and she'd sit. You could actually see her sit on the end of my couch protecting me and my kids.
You would see, like, the imprint of somebody there?
Yes.
Wow.
She would be sitting on my couch
right around my kids, and the room would be cold, so you'd know she was there.
Did you ever like try and just like rub your hand through the area of where it appeared that there was, you know, something like sitting or standing?
Yes, I did, and that couch was very cold in that one spot.
That's creepy. Real ghost stories is what we are sharing today on this show. My name is Tony Bruschi from NewTasteToday.com and RealGhostStoriesOnline.com. One's a food site, one's a ghost site. The worlds collide in my mind of two things that interest me greatly. You know, you can have a good ghost story and some good food, and that to me right there is a great night. Let's go to another ghost story.
I moved into this house when I was about 9 years old, and as soon as we moved in there, my mom started having, well, I thought it was nightmares. She said that she'd wake up in the middle of the night, and this guy would be standing over her, this ghost, you know. There was an old cellar-type basement, and I was down there just kind of looking around one day, and they had, like, the concrete walls with the dirt, and there was a picture there with a little bit of dirt over it, and I got it, and it was this guy, and I took it upstairs to my mom and showed it to her, and she immediately threw it. I was like, well, what'd you throw it for? She said, that's the guy I've been seeing standing over me.
So this was probably a previous resident of the house.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Did he die there? Is there any story to that you ever found?
I don't know. We never did check into it, but we didn't end up living there much longer.
I was just going to ask, how much longer did you stay?
Yeah, not much longer at all.
It's almost one of those tales where you just leave and leave all your stuff as well. Isn't that what they said they did in Amityville with that story, that once they left and fled that house, that they left all of their belongings there? Let's go to the ghost story.
Well, I live in about a 100-year-old farmhouse, and when we moved in, about 11 o'clock every night, I would hear music coming from the back of the house in one of the back bedrooms.
Describe the music.
It's like an old-time radio, like it's being tuned.
Okay.
And like if you hear music, you know, coming from a bar, you really can't make out the sound, but you hear the music, you hear people talking.
Okay.
And that's what I hear coming from the back bedroom. And I thought I was just hearing things. So we're laying there one night, and my husband goes, "Do you hear that?" And I said, "You hear the music too." I thought it was just me. And we also see someone who walks through our kitchen, like past our fridge and then into the wall. A lady in white. Every once in a while we'll see her.
Like out of the corner of your eye or directly in front of you?
No, like out of the corner of our eye, you'll look and you'll see her just like really fast.
Is it your mind playing tricks though, or is it actually a paranormal entity? Let's go to another ghost story. Hi, you're on the air.
After we were married for a while, we moved to a place over by Kingman, Kansas, and it was on an old farm. The family who had built the house that owned the property forever, they had a little girl die there from appendicitis first. And this was quite a while ago. But there was a back bedroom in the house that we didn't use except for a spare bedroom, and everybody that came over claimed that there's a little girl in there watching them sleep. And when you would come out of the bathroom, which that door was adjacent to the bedroom door, if that door was open, every once in a while you'd see her standing there as you turned the corner.
What did she look like?
Just a little blonde-haired girl, and just a little dress.
I mean, when you initially saw this, how did you react?
Kind of scared, but we talked to there was a little house pretty close to ours that the woman who lived there and raised her family there, was her daughter. She was telling us that about the little girl dying there, and he showed us a picture, and it was just like the little ghost that was hanging around in that bedroom.
Another story of a picture matching up with a ghost. That brings chills to your body. Let's go to another story. Yes, you're on there.
When we first bought our home, we were told that there was a man that had died in his sleep there. My daughter at the time was probably 18 months to 2 years old, and throughout time she would look up and she would point and she'd say, "He's right there," or we'd be reading a book and she would look up and she would wave at him. And I mean, she was 2, so obviously she didn't know that it had happened, but she did tell us that he was there.
So she remembers seeing this figure.
Yes. She would look up from us reading stories and tell me. She would point and tell me where he was. And then she just knew of his presence at that young age, and we hadn't mentioned anything to her about that for her to know.
Isn't that strange? I almost wonder if kids can tap into that.
I think so, because once she got a little bit older, she never did it anymore. So I think it's something that when she was younger, she tapped in on, but grew out of.
Again, it really makes you wonder what kids can see that we can't. Hi, what's your ghost story?
Granddaughter stayed the night,
And after she left, I went into her room to pick up, and I couldn't get the door open.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't get it open, so my husband had to force the door open, and her wooden daybed had been pulled all the way in front of the door. The windows were locked, so how that bed got pushed in front of the door, we don't know, but it did.
Yeah, that's not like a book falling off a shelf or something. That would take a lot of force to move.
Yes, exactly.
That one, that's very unexplained and just almost disturbing to think about some sort of unexplained force that would have that much power. Hi, what's your ghost story?
When I was a kid, I slept walk, and I never did that. I just remember I woke up and I was sitting in front of a mirror in our hallway and just staring into the mirror. And I woke up like that. All these years I've always thought, that's so strange, you know. And then I was watching TV and they had a story on ghosts and the other world. They said that back in the old days, people used to think that if you looked into a mirror and you saw your reflection, you could talk to the other side. I saw that story and I thought, oh my God, I was sleepwalking and I was trying to talk to the other side.
How old were you?
I was like preteen.
I don't know. There's a lot of teen girls, when I remember back to being that age, that love to stare at themselves in the mirror. Are you sure you weren't just like checking out your hair in the middle of the night or something?
Pretty sure. I was sleepwalking.
Sure. You never know sometimes. You really don't. Let's go back to another ghost story. Hi.
Well, my ghost story is my granddaughter stayed the night one night, and she asked me to go find the rest of her tea set.
Okay.
So I'm in the room she's staying in, going through the toy box, and I'm going through the tea set. I pull out several pieces, and I thought she was behind me, so I'm handing her the pieces. And when I get done, I turn around, there's nobody there, and I go in the living room, and I say, where'd you put the pieces I gave you, honey? And my husband says, what pieces? She's been sitting in here with me all this time. And the next day, they showed up after she left on the bed. But I don't know who I handed the pieces to, but I handed them to somebody.
When you realized that you weren't handing them to her, did you look around the house right away to try and find them?
Yes, I looked, and we couldn't find them. I thought they was playing a trick on me.
Be quite a trick for your granddaughter to be playing on you. Your husband, I wouldn't put it past him. But your granddaughter, I don't know. What's your ghost story?
I like to listen to the music while I'm taking a shower.
Okay.
So I had my radio playing and I had a CD playing. And this CD has never skipped, no scratches, no nothing. The one word that it chose to skip on was ghost. And so I'm standing in my shower and I hear this and I'm like... So it scared me nonetheless, but that's pretty much it.
So you didn't like walk out of the shower and there was a figure looking back at you in the mirror?
Not exactly, but I was definitely on my tiptoes.
You live to tell the story. Thank you for the call.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. There you go. That's our roundup of ghost stories for the year 2012. For more ghost stories, if you just can't quite get enough of them, hear more from our archive of more than 10 years of radio shows with ghost stories from real people. Real ghost stories from real people, I should say, on our website at realghoststoriesonline.com. Thanks for listening.
Someplace. Over here. Come on. Open the door. Oh, no way I'm going in there. I don't care. Just open it. Let's go in. Come on, man. Okay. Whoa, look at this place, man. It's cool. I like to leave. It's like a haunted house. Hey, go on. Uh-oh.
Welcome, boys. Come right in.
come in, you're welcome here. Mind the cobwebs and the bones. May we invite you to spend the night. Make yourself at home. Step this way, here's the living room. Though dead room is actually more correct. 'Cause there hasn't been a living soul here since Grandpa broke his neck. In our haunted house, we'll treat you like one of us. But in our haunted house, that could be hazardous. Browse around the kitchen, have a spoon, a fork, a knife. You must excuse those ketchup stains. We ate someone last night. Here is your big bedroom, dears. You'll love the creaky bed. You'll sleep just fine, but when you wake, you still may feel half dead. In our haunted house, the butler is a ghost. The upstairs maid's been buried for years, and the chauffeur's comatose. In our haunted house, our hospitality is something of which we're very proud. Oh, do you take poison in your tea? Don't let the spider webs mess up your head. Don't mind the piano playing with no one there. The crumbling bookshelves covered with dust. One or two headless bodies, what's all the fuss? The dreadful pounding, the screams and moans. It's just a typical night at home.
We'd love you to come in. Stay a while and
play. Once you finally settle in, you'll never go away. We'll make sure of that.
It's astounding.
Time is fleeting. Madness takes its toll. But listen closely.
Not for very much longer.
I've got to keep control.
I remember doing the crime war, drinking those moments when the blackness would hit me and the void would be calling. Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again.
It's just a jump to the left. With your hands on your hips.
It's so dreamy. Oh, fantasy, free me. So you can't see me. No, not at all. In another dimension, with voyeuristic intention. Well secluded, I see all.
With a bit of a mind flip.
You're into the time slip.
And nothing can ever be the same.
You're spaced out on sensation.
Like you're under sedation. Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again.
Well, I was walking down the street just to having a thing when a stinking big guy gave me an evil wink. He shook me up, he took me by surprise. He had a pickup truck and the devil's eyes. He stared at me and I felt a change. Time and nothing ever would again.
Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again.
It's just a jump to the left. With your hands on your hips.
I love the dead before they're cool. The bluing flesh for me to hold. Cadaver eyes upon me see nothing. I love the dead before they rise. No farewells, no goodbyes. I never even knew your now rotting face. While friends and lovers mourn your silly grave, I have other uses for you, darling. Nothing.
Boys and girls of every age, wouldn't you like to see something strange? Come with us and you will see this our town of Halloween. This is Halloween, this is Halloween. Pumpkins scream in the dead of night. This is Halloween, everybody make a scene. Trick or treat, all the neighbors gonna die of fright. It's our town, everybody scream. This town of Halloween. The one hiding under your bed, teeth out sharp and eyes going red. I am the one hiding under your stairs, fingers like snakes and spiders in my hair. This is Halloween, this is Halloween, 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 Halloween. In this town we call home, everyone hail to the pumpkin song. In this town, don't we love it now? Everybody's waiting for the next surprise. Round that corner, man, hiding in the trash can. Something's waiting at the house and now you'll scream. It's Halloween, red and black and slimy green. Aren't you scared? That's just fine. Say it once, say it twice, take a chance and roll the dice. Ride with the moon in the dead of night. Everybody scream, everybody scream. In our town of Halloween. I am the clown with the tearaway face. Here in a crash and go without a trace. I am the clue when you call who's there. I am the wind blowing through your hair. I am the shadow of the moon at night, filling your dreams to the brim with fate. This is Halloween, this is Halloween, 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 Halloween. Tender lumplings everywhere. Life's no fun without its scare. Not so job, but with nothing. In our town of Halloween. In this town, don't we love it now? Everybody's waiting for the next surprise. Skeleton Jack might get you in a vat and scream like a banshee. Make you jump out of your skin. This is Halloween, everybody scream. Won't you please make me for a very special guy? Our man Jack is king of the pumpkin patch. Everyone hail to the pumpkin king now. This is Halloween, this is Halloween, 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 Halloween. In this town we call home, everyone hail to the pumpkin song.
afraid of no ghosts. likes the girls. I ain't afraid of no girls. Yeah, 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 yeah. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! If you have a dose of a freaky ghost, baby, you better call Ghostbusters! Let me tell you something. Bustin' makes me feel good. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Don't get caught alone, no, no. Ghostbusters! When it comes through your door, unless you just want some more, I think you better call Ghostbusters! Ow! Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! Think you better call Ghostbusters! Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! I can't hear you. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! Louder! Ghostbusters! Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! Who can you call? Ghostbusters! Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! It likes the girls too.
I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise,
He did the mash,
he did the monster mash.
the monster mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
He did the mash,
It caught on in a flash.
he did the mash.
He did the monster mash. From my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast. The ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from my electrode.
They did the mash,
They did the monster mash.
the monster mash.
It was a graveyard
They
smash.
did the mash,
It caught on in a flash.
they did the mash.
They did the monster mash. The zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rocking, all were digging the sounds. Igor on chains, backed by his baying hounds. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Crypt Kicker Five.
They played the mash,
They played the monster mash.
the monster mash.
It was a graveyard
They
smash.
played the mash,
It caught on in a flash.
they played the mash.
They played the monster mash. Out from his coffin, Drac's voice did ring. Seemed he was troubled by just one thing. Opened the lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?
It's now the mash,
It's now the monster mash.
the monster mash.
And it's a graveyard
It's
smash.
now the mash,
It's caught on in a flash.
it's now the mash.
It's now the monster mash. Now everything's cool. Drac's a part of the band, and my monster mash is the hit of the land. For you, the living, this mash was meant to. When you get to my door, tell them God is sent.
Then you can mash,
Then you can monster mash,
the monster mash.
and do my graveyard
Then you
smash.
can mash,
You'll catch on in a flash.
then you can mash.
Then you can monster mash.
Monster mash,
You in
monster mash.